Uh, Hello. This is my txr3 car steal list. This will be completely unscripted and probably very schizo, but I have nothing to do, nothing better to do at 3 am, so I'll just do this, and I really want to explain my placement. So let's start with F tier because it's probably the easiest one. Also, let me explain that I'm not just taking raw performance of the car into the placement. What I also took as a very important factor in the placement is how you can obtain the car and how quickly you can obtain the car. So, for example, that's why Evo 5 is higher than Evo 7/8 because you can just obtain Evo 5 much faster. But yeah, let's just get into it. Copen is just trash. With engine swaps, it goes to 500 HP, but it's front wheel drive, so you don't want to use it either way. All of the K cars are basically trash. You only want to use them for wanderers that require them. The Isuzu pizza car or whatever the fuck, soup car, I don't remember. It's a meme car. It's horrible. The RX3 doesn't have much use. All of the Mercedes in this game just suck. They don't have that much power compared to other cars when fully tuned, and they're just super heavy. Only really use them to race Golden Wolf, if I think was his name, which is the one that drives the GTR 750. The Lancer EX is a starter car, it's a horrible one, never use it. Both Truenos are just horrible. 120 HP stock, if I remember well. I can't be bothered to boot the game up. They're very slow. There's just not much point to them. Same for the Glanza. The Z you get very late. Both of the Z's actually, the older ones, you get very late into the game, and then they can only be really used for wanderer hunting. Same for the old GTR, the Alcyon, whatever. Starter car, horrible, 120 HP. Generally, in this game or overall in txr games, you have two ways of going about a starter car. You pick something cheap and you put some tires on it to get like easy money from the first few races and upgrade to a better car, or you just get something that's fast stock. That's not really how you do things in txr3 because in txr3 you're gonna stick with your first car for some time really, and the payouts aren't as horrible as in txr2 or 0 at the start, so don't pick Alcon, don't use the K cars. The 2000 GT Toyota, as much as of a great car it is, especially history-wise, it just doesn't have any use in gameplay. Really, you get it from a wanderer in Nagoya, and it's just not very fast. Another K car, ignore the 85 Corolla. Only two drivers, I believe, drive it. One is a rival from Glory Days team. The other one is Zero, which is a wanderer. Awful car, literally no use. Same for the Viz, though Viz has a funny wanderer that has an engine swap and goes really fast in Nagoya, but still useless car. And both the Volkswagens are just trash, don't bother with them. Low power, mediocre weight, don't. Going into the city, we have the MRS. I think this should be a starter car because you unlock it. The fastest way to unlock it is to beat the lady team in Osaka, but at that point it's gonna be on pace with your starter car or slower, so there's not much of a point. The next gen MR2 is slightly better, but it's still not unlocked from the start if I remember well. And it's also not very fast. Why would you pour your money to customize both of these? They don't give much in return. The Levin is a pretty good car, but it's also not unlocked from the start and it's on pace with your starter car, so don't use it. The FB... Okay, FB is not unlocked from the start. It has no use gameplay-wise, but it's not in F just because of my personal attachment to this car. Uh, that's pretty much it. It's a very fun car to drive, but again, it has like 360 HP when maxed. It's not that fast. The NB Miata is actually what I use for my no losses run because I fucking felt like it. It's a pretty decent starter. Both the Miatas are decent, but the NB is objectively better than NA since it has a 6-speed gearbox. Still, both Miatas are okay as starters. NB is also pretty good. I managed to beat the Wanderer White Panther who drives an MR2 with a stock NB, so you can use it. to just get a lot of easy cash on the start and upgrade to something better. I really recommend using this car if you're skilled at the game. The Europa can be very good with engine swaps, if I remember well, but to get engine swaps you have to get 2000 kilometers on one car, and even then there's just better options overall. The Starion is just kind of the same case. It can be good, it's just kind of slow. The VIP sedans are usually not very fast. They don't have good gearboxes. They have decent power, but they have very high weight. So I'm not really gonna talk about these six cars individually because they just both fit the same quota. Maybe Sefiro is a bit better. Cappuccino has use on C1, but I fucking hate this car. Just don't. If you use an engine swap Cappuccino to cheese the game, man up. Firebird. Why did they choose the slowest production model for this game? But okay, when fully maxed, it gets like 600 HP. It doesn't have any visual customization, so that's a shame. It's alright. It's pretty fine. It's just alright. It has access to enables. It can be good with engine swaps. Next is the FTO, a very good starter car. 200 HP stock, you can remove the wing to add some extra straight line speed. Very good car. If you don't really know what to pick, this is the safe choice. It's easy to drive because it's front wheel drive. It's pretty powerful for a stock car. It's pretty light. Good choice. RX-8 is kind of a mid car. As much as I like it in real life, it's just not very good in this game. The rev range is kind of fucked. It has a 6-speed gearbox, which is nice. It's pretty somewhat light. It doesn't get that much power of upgrades, but it's alright. It's the only... No, it's not the only naturally aspirated in the game. Rotary. What am I talking about? The Turbo Esprit is just a worst Esprit V8. We go into C tier, where the cars are actually somewhat good. Late into the game even. The GS300 is just a better version of the VIP cars in the lower tiers. It has a 4-speed gearbox, if I remember well, which I'm not a fan of, but it gets decent power. It's not that heavy. Bloodhound drives it, so that's extra points. Then we have S13. Starter S13 is not as busted as in txr3, but they're still very good. Also a safe choice for a starter car. The Pulsar is not a starter car, but you can unlock it very fast from beating Galaxy Racer's team leader. And it's really fast. It's a fucking sleeper. It's actually surprising how fast it is. Like, it's light, it's all-wheel drive, it has 250 or somewhat less HP stock. It's a very good C1 car. Or Osaka car. The Z31 Fair Lady. I mean, it's alright, like. It's alright starter. If you want to start in Nagoya as your first city because you hate yourself, it's probably it's the second best choice in my opinion. Then we have the 180, which is also higher than it probably should be because of my personal attachment, but god, it has a veil side kit. Do you need to know more? But yeah, it's also pretty decent as a starter. You can put a L6 engine swap into it to get 560 HP at like very low weight, so it's very good. Why is there Firebird again? I was smoking something, ignore that. The C5 and C4 Corvette. Overall, Viper and Corvettes are kind of mid. Viper used to be very good in txr3, even though I fucking hated how it handled, but they're just not very good. Especially the Viper. The Viper has more weight than the cars like the RX-7 or 350Z, but has similar amounts of power. Don't use it, really. It's expensive to upgrade too. We have the Chaser, which is the starter car with the most power and decent weight. I did a 1-car challenge run with this car a few years back. It's very good. It's just a good starter. It's the best starter for Nagoya. We have the Celica GT4, which I never really used that much, but it's basically a better Pulsar. Similar weight, though a bit heavier if I remember well, more power potential, more stable because of the longer wheelbase. It's a very good car. The Legacy wagon is just a worse Legacy before. It has the same power, but it's just heavier, so I'd say just go for the B4 unless you just want to swag with your wagon. The S14 is just a better S13. I also used it as a starter in several playthroughs. With an engine swap, you can get over 550 HP, something like that. It's very good. Evo 7 is basically the Evo 5, but it's slower because you unlock Evo 5 much faster. You can get Evo 5 in the first stage of Tokyo, just if you get like 30 mileage in one night and you get the Crossroad Queen to spawn. So you can technically get it on night 1 if you're good enough to beat her with a stock starter. GTO, I think this car is overhated. Like, yeah, it's basically a Skyline. It's basically an R32, but heavier, significantly by like 200 kilos, but it's just good. It's stable, it accelerates fine, it has decent top speed, it's just good car. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's good looking, it's good handling, it's pretty fast. It's alright. I mean it's alright, like the FC, which is a competitor to be the best starter. Very good car at start, very good car even in the end game. But there's one problem with it, and that's overheating. Rotary engines in this game overheat faster than normal engines, and this is a turbo rotary, so it overheats even fucking faster. So it's not really that good of a choice for longevity. It has a 5-speed gearbox, which is alright. It's the standard. The Gembala GTR 500. I see a lot of people. Okay, seen. I'm not really a part of the txr community anymore because that community sucks. But I've seen a lot of people just completely dismiss the Gembala cars because they're not tunable, especially the GTR 500, but 500 HP, 1.3 tons, so not heavy, and a 6-speed gearbox. This is a very good car. Especially if you unlock it before you can have a car that reaches past 500 HP, it's very good. It handles pretty well just by default settings, you don't even need to tune it. Now we're on to the A tier, where the big guns come in, the Mark III Supra. I could honestly put this in S tier if not for the fact that you unlock it so fucking late into the game. You unlock it from a team leader of Glory Days in Nagoya, but Nagoya is literally in stage 2. Actually, both in stage 1 and stage 2, Nagoya is the last fucking city you go through because that's where the fastest cars are. So by the time you get the Mark III Supra, you already have a faster car or something equally as fast. So I guess if you feel like it, you can waste your money on it and upgrades, but why should you? The MR2 Toyota, you might think that I am fucking schizo because I put the other MR2s, I mean, yeah, the other MR2 and the MRS in what the fuck was it, D tier? E tier. But really, MR2 is a pocket rocket. It's insane how fast this car gets when it's upgraded. It's even good without much upgrades. In the early game, you can unlock it easily from beating White Pump. Well, okay, maybe not easily. He can be difficult to defeat with a stock starter in C1 Tokyo Stage 1. And he doesn't even have a proper requirement. He just requires you to be on some day. I don't remember exactly which one, but just on every 5 days, every 10 days, I don't remember. Stupidly easy to unlock, I mean for him to show up, somewhat harder to unlock because he can be difficult to beat, but it's so fucking fast. The only problem is that it's MR, so when the tires start wearing down, it gets a lot of oversteer, but all that was fine. The Legacy P4 is just alright. It's a decent all-wheel drive car. It has the power of a Skyline. It has similar weight. It's just alright. Though it's a Subaru. It accelerates pretty well. Now, some people may think this is controversial that I've put the R32 over R33 and R34, but just listen to me. Okay? R34 has more weight, similar power. It has more power when fully upgraded by like 20 or 30. Yes, but it has a fucked rev range along with the R33. On the R32, your maximum revs, if I remember well, go up to 8000, and your peak power is somewhere around that. It's like 7.8k. On the R34, with upgrades, you get to a rev range of 9.5 thousand revs, but your peak power is at 7.2 thousand. So if you actually shift at the red line, you are losing power, which is why you have to make a very weird, annoying gear ratio for this car to properly work, and you have to short shift. And the same goes for R33, which R33 is just a worse R32 in every fucking way. I mean, it's heavier, it has a bit more power, but it doesn't offset the weight. It has a 5-speed gearbox, so it's worse than R34 in that regard. And it doesn't have more power than R34, so use it for looks. I'm using it on my current no losses txr3 playthrough. which I will upload whenever I complete it or lose. We'll see. But yeah, just they're good cars. They're very good cars. I completed the game with both of those. It's just that you get the R32 in stage 1 from beating Tutenzaku, I don't remember, team in Osaka. But you only unlock the R34 in stage 2, and as early as you can go is stage 2 C1 from either Roadmaster? No, not Roadmaster. What am I talking about? The Road of Justice. Hearing Master, that was his nickname. And the R33 you get very, very late in the game. You either get it from the Wanderer Turboman, which is a stage 2 Nagoya Wanderer that requires you to have a naturally aspirated car that's also very fast. Or from Perfect Driver, which is a team leader of True Ride on the fucking one gun, so we already need a fast stage 2 car, so there's just no point to the R33. It's worse than the R32, which you already have unlocked by now, and just by the time you get to it, it's slower than anything you have in your garage. The S15, best Silvia, 6-speed gearbox, 250 HP stock, low weight. This car is absolutely fucking fucked with engine swaps. This can get to 691 HP at 1200 kilos, if I remember, or less. If this has just slightly more grip, it would be the fastest car in the game, but it has so much power with engine swaps that it actually wheel spins at the speed cap. It's that fast. So, not really practical, but I put it in A tier just for the fucking respect I have to how fast this car can get. The txr3, I recently did a playthrough where I went for this car as early as possible. It's actually surprisingly fast. I managed to reach past 300 kilometers per hour in the first stage in Tokyo as my starter city. This car is super fast. Why don't people use this one? I mean, it's modeled like shit in this game, but why don't people use it? Like seriously, it's very good. The only downside is that it has a 5-speed gearbox and it's kind of heavy, but you don't feel the weight. It handles very well. Evo 5. You can unlock it very early. It has great grip, great acceleration, it's great in the rain. It's just overall a good car, especially on the C1. Very nice car. The Esprit V8 is just a much better Esprit Turbo. It gets over 600 HP. It's also underrated. I rarely seen people use it. You unlock it from beating Big Wave on Yokohane in stage 2. Obviously, you don't have Yoko in stage 1. The Gembala GTR 750, some consider this the fastest car in the game, they are fucking wrong. But it's the most powerful stock car in the game. I don't think it can reach speed cap, I don't exactly remember. You unlock it very late, you have to use one of the Mercedes on the one gun to beat Golden Wolf, which is a kind of a challenge in itself. It's very expensive to get, but it doesn't require any tuning. It's just super fast stock, but it's not an S. Because it's not faster than something like Ford GT, it's not quite the fastest car. And you unlock it very late. Though same applies for Ford GT, but Ford GT has to be in S tier just for the fact it's the fastest car. Anyway, the Mustang Mach-1. I just wonder when I look at this car and I think to myself, what the fuck were they thinking? You can unlock this car in Nagoya Stage 1 on your second day. The Wanderer that has it in stage 1 appears on Tuesdays and Fridays, if I remember well. So you can literally just... and you have to start on the bottom part of Nagoya. You can literally unlock this fucking car that has 360 HP stock, or 40, I don't remember, on your second day. And after you complete Nagoya, you have enough money to buy it. And you can turn it into a 600 plus HP fucking monster. The only downside is that it has 4 gears and the model looks like shit, but... It's not quite an S tier because it's not as fast, but the pace that you can unlock it, it's so stupid to me. Why? This is just a slightly tamer Pantera. S tier. The Supra A80. Another great car you can unlock very fast by beating... what the fuck was his name? The Magazine Wanderer in Osaka, though I don't really remember his requirement. But you can unlock it very fast by either doing that or No, not in Tokyo. Yeah, I think it's just there. And Ogre DT drives it in Nagoya, but he's a boss of that region, kind of, so. We have both the Subaru VRXs. Those are what me and my friend like to call pussy cars. Now, no disrespect for women, but if you use this car, you are a noob. I'm sorry, they have so cracked acceleration, especially this one with 6 gears. Just don't, please don't. They look cool. They don't have much customization, but they're stupidly fast on acceleration. They're not as fast top speed wise. They had to balance them out somewhat, but the acceleration on these cars is just fucking cracked. Anyway, R32, the best skyline in the game. It has everything. Veil side kit, great power, good rev range, 5 gears, which is alright. The lightest skyline. It's fantastic. This is the car that granted me my no losses playthrough at the race with the 3 Supras. And you unlock it super early, like I said earlier, with the Tutensaku, Tatenta, whatever, the chicken team, okay? And it's not expensive either. Anyway, 350Z. This car is so slept on. Even just looking at the numbers, though I've driven all of these cars, just some, not as much as others, but just looking at the numbers, 280 HP, the same weight as an R32, so they have same power, same weight, slightly less torque, 6-speed gearbox, naturally aspirated, so you have access to the most broken thing in the game, well, apart from engine swaps. The NA boost. Wonderful car, use it more. Now, the holy trinity of cars. The RX-7. The second fastest car in the game top speed wise. It has poor acceleration on the low end, I will agree, because it's a rotary. But when this car gets like, I don't know, past 250, it's such a fucking rocket. It's super light. It has almost the power of a Skyline. It's like 616 HP max, 630, and with an engine swap you go to 671 with the rotary the turbo swap, which is literally the same engine. It's like level 10 engine upgrade basically. And you're at like 1100 kilograms. The only issues with it is that it doesn't have grip really when you make it so extreme, especially in the rain. And it heats up fast because it's a rotary. But it's still the fastest like fastest car on a budget basically. It's pretty cheap to get an upgrade. You also get it super quick, and you can get it several different ways. You can get it in both Tokyo and Osaka in stage 1. In Tokyo you just have to beat Twister, team leader. Yeah, Twister. And in Osaka you just have to beat the Wanderer. Don't remember quite what they're called, but yeah, it's a duo of FC and FD driver. now this fuck. Ford GT is so fucking stupid. What? Please don't use this car, it's just like do whatever you want, but if you use this car I hope you're not happy with yourself. 750 HP when maxed. Access to NA boost. It's so fast that it can reach the speed cap without NA boost. It's so fast that it can just reach the speed cap of 370 km per hour by itself with no help. And the Pantera GTS. Also, these are in no order. This is just general tiers. So I'm not saying the Pantera is better than the Ford GT. This is just how I set it up because I was lazy. Take whatever I said about the Mustang and multiply it by 5. 10. You get Pantera very quickly in Osaka by defeating Drift King, whatever. I don't remember his name. I mean, he can be hard to defeat, but just lure him to the bottom part of the map, and I swear to God, he will crash into the hairpin corner every time. 350 HP stock. Weight of a Skyline. Almost twice as much torque as a Skyline. The R32 has 36 kilograms of torque, or whatever the fuck the measurement there is. This has 50. It's 24 more. No, 24? 14, I'm stupid, sorry. It's 36, it's 50. It's 14 more torque. And this is naturally aspirated. This gets access to NA boost. Do you have the slightest clue how powerful that shit is? Also, I forgot to include the special cars on the tier list, but the tier list would basically go... the MCR R34 Skyline is in S tier. It has the best cooling system, 670 HP, great traction, great axle. It's a fantastic car. Use it on every playthrough if you just care about winning and don't like fun. The West Corvette is in A tier because it's not as fast. It has 600 HP. It's annoying to get. Oh, I forgot. You can get the MCR 34 as soon as you go into stage 2. And you might tell me, Tofu, you fucking retard. But you need to beat the time of sub 405 on C1 to get him to appear. And that's when I tell you, no you fucking don't. I mean you do, but not really. Get one save file where you beat the time, save it on both of your memory cards, on memory card 1 and 2, and that stays even if you make a playthrough on the other card. So let's say you have a playthrough on your memory 1 card where you've beaten him and you have the 405 record beaten. Save it to memory card 2, start a playthrough on memory card 2, and the game knows that, and the moment you go into stage 2 he will appear on C1 outer. Outer? Outer, yeah. No. Yeah, outer. And you can get it that fast. You won't have the money to buy it obviously, but you can unlock it really fast. Anyway, the West Corvette is annoying to beat. The amount of fucking hours I spent trying to get that Wanderer to spawn each time I did a 100% playthrough, I'll never get them back, but the car itself is very cool, though it has fucked gearing by default. The 6th gear is so fucking long on that car that it actually slows down. It doesn't even have enough power to go with the 6th gear by stock. So you have to tune the gearing, though I assume for every car in this tier list, that you, as a viewer who watched until this point, is smart enough to tune the gearing yourself, or at least use a guide. Like, who the fuck drives with stock gearing? Anyway, that would be in A tier. Orido Supra would be in B tier because it has 570 HP, but it's obviously not tunable, so it's just a bit faster than the Gembala GTR 500. It would just be slightly above it, I'd say, because it's heavier, but it has more HP. And we go to Nob's S15, which has 400 HP. And it's not tunable because the special car. I would just put that in C tier, it just doesn't have much use. It's a very cool looking Sylvia, it has a Vertex kit, but it is just pretty shit. There's also one car I'd like to include that's not on the tier list, that's Jay's R32. Jay's R32 is actually faster than regular R32. It has slightly higher top speed, so if you want an R32 but you're tired of the stock variant, use Jay's. Even though Jay's will probably be like one of the last bosses you beat in your playthrough. Actually, now I've just realized, this entire tier list, I've been assuming that everyone is doing no losses playthrough, and if you really want, you can just go into Nagoya the moment you start stage 2, lose 50 times and get the car anyway, so if you're into that, do that. If you're a egotistical asshole like me, you can go for no losses and you will never drive that car because you'll always unlock it at the end of your playthrough. Anyway, that's the tier list, goodbye.